warm welcome. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming in huge masses here to this conference, and also for tuning in on the live stream. Today we're going to talk about the strategy of optimizing revenue, which sounds always good. Who doesn't want optimized revenue? And with me here on stage are two people that I want to quickly introduce, or do you want to guys introduce yourself? You can introduce yourself. So before I get started, my name is Ben Jost. I'm the CEO and co-founder of TrustYou. Ladies first.
And I'm Celine. I'm head of digital marketing with Meininger Hotels.
Hi everyone, my name's Adnan. I'm an account executive at Mailchimp. I work out of our EMEA region, and I work with a number of hotels, help them in a number of ways, retaining audience and improving loyalty, and then also acquiring new customers and increasing revenue through email.
Great. So, quickly introduction of TrustYou. We do three things. We have three platforms. The first one is the CXP, the customer experience platform, which is everything around feedback management, quality management, surveys, reputation management. So how do you manage all the reviews and the content out there in one platform? The second one we're going to talk about today in length is the CDP, the customer data platform. And then last but not least, our AI agents platform. We have three new agents that we introduced to the market as of yesterday. One is the booking agent, which helps you to increase bookings. One is the guest agent that starts the job when the booking agent has done the job, meaning guiding the guest throughout the journey from pre-arrival, during stay, post-stay. And last but not least, the staff agent, which already the name says is dedicated for staff teams at the hotel. So it's your Q&A, it's in your pocket where you can ask any question to the staff agent, and then the staff agent will respond to any question you might have as a staff member in a hotel. So those are the three platforms, but today we're going to deep dive into the CDP. So what is a CDP? A CDP has basically the function of acting as the middleman between sources of data and then destinations of data. So what are sources of data? In a hotel, you can have loyalty data, you can have transactional data, you can have feedback data, you can have many, many different data sources, siloed sources. And we're going to capture all of that and bring them together in the CDP. I'll give you one example of a very, very easy example why this is important. You can stay as a guest in one hotel, and then you come back 6 months later, but how do you know that this is the same guest? It's a very simple question, because maybe they use a different email address, maybe they booked through a different channel. So normally they appear as two separated guests, and the CDP brings them together and merges them as one guest profile. Another example would be this guest stays in two different hotels, and you still don't know that this guest stayed in two different hotels. So the CDP brings them from these different databases, even brings them together, merges them together, and says, like, here's the entire customer lifetime value of this guest and all of the profile. And then the destination is, what do you do with that data? So you can now have all of the data in one database, very, very cool, merged together, unified together. But then you have to activate that guest. You have to do something with it. And today we're going to talk about use cases, what you can do actually to activate this guest with destinations. So one destination could be, for example, to send this data to a Mailchimp and then run a marketing campaign on Mailchimp. And in detail, we're going to talk about that. So I'll walk through a couple of use cases of a CDP step by step. So the first one I just talked about is turn really the profile confusion. So what is this guest all about? Do I know this guest? What's the lifetime value of this guest? Together in one profile. So you can unify that and have the entire lifetime value of this guest in a unified view. The second one is then, once I have that, I can build great audiences. Meaning, if I want to know, for example, which of my hotel guests booked through booking.com as an example, but I have a real email address. So it's not a hidden email address, but I collected via the check-in process, for example, I collected the email. Now I can run a marketing campaign, I can say, hey, CDP, give me everyone in the last 12 months that booked through Booking.com and has a real email address, and I create an audience just for that audience. Another one would be, hey, create a family audience, so everyone that booked these family rooms is my family audience. Or I can say, give me everyone that has a high recency or frequency, so returning guests, and those are my loyalty, this is my loyalty audience. So I can create unlimited audiences in the CDP, and then I can activate these audiences. And again, Adnan will talk about this later, how this looks like then also on the Mailchimp side. Once I have these audiences, it's very important, how do I actually now activate it? So I can activate it in terms of connecting with the right destination. For example, a Mailchimp. So I can send all of these audiences with a click of a button to a Mailchimp and then do something on the Mailchimp side. And do something meaning, for example, run a marketing campaign on Mailchimp to activate this audience. Or I can send an SMS or a WhatsApp to that audience as well. So I can choose the right channel for the right audience at the right time and activate that customer. And for that, I need a CDP because otherwise I don't know who I'm talking to. Another one example is so-called, especially in hospitality, event-based messaging or event-based audiences. So what does it mean? In our industry, we have a couple of events that are important. For example, you have a booking event. So someone books a hotel. Then you have a pre-arrival event, or an arrival event, a check-in event, a during-stay event, a post-stay event. So those are all clear events with a timestamp. And then I can send transactional, so-called transactional emails or transactional SMS or transactional WhatsApp based on that event. So someone books it and I have to send a booking confirmation, simple example. Or someone checks in my hotel and I want to say 10 minutes later they should receive an SMS with an AI agent that gives them all of the knowledge about my stay, and they can log into the Wi-Fi, et cetera, et cetera. Or I can send them an on-site survey to fill out a survey. Those are all these events. In the CDP, you can just define which event you want, which channel you want to send this guest to, and then just connect it. So you're becoming really independent of a monolithic view of one platform, but you really can use best-of-breed platforms to activate these customers and these audiences. Last but not least, we always also thought on the staff side, what is the staff member saying when someone walks into the hotel? And most of the time, and you probably all know that, is the question often is, have you stayed with us before? And it's a very weird question because I always think like you should know that, not I should know that. I know that, but you should know that too as a hotel. So often these PMSs that they operate, the staff members to check you in or fill out some information, at this moment they don't know you because, as I said at the beginning, your profile is scattered across different databases. So what we did is we developed a browser plugin that you can download. It's a TrustYou CDP browser plugin, and the browser plugin reads everything that you are doing in your PMS. And that's actually independent of whatever PMS you're using, as long as it's a cloud-based, browser-based PMS. So it reads who you're checking in or what profiles you're looking at, and then connects it with a CDP database and matches everything they find and brings you the entire guest history of that guest that you're looking at right at your, in front of your screen. So it pops up and you say, oh, this guest has stayed with us 3 times, has spent 3,000 euros, and last time was at this hotel 2 months ago. So you have the entire history of the guest, and you can actually then, of course, personalize that, say, much, much better than before, where you have no idea if that guest stayed with you or not. So those are some of these use cases, so you have an idea what a CDP does. So important is connecting all of this first-party data sources into the CDP, merging, unifying this data that's out of the box, comes from the CDP. Then you can create whatever audiences you like, and with a click of a button, connect them to destinations where you send the data to activate the customer afterwards. But now let's hear it from someone who actually wants to use a CDP, so I hand over to you.
Thank you. Yes, I think it would be good to just go back. Yeah. I think that it's very important to start by telling you a bit more about Meininger to explain why we decided to go for a CDP. So Meininger is a hotel concept that is an actual hybrid between hotel and hostel. So at a Meininger, you will find a standard double room that you would find at any hotel, but you also find multi-bedded rooms. And the multi-bedded rooms, we sell them to families that have a double bed and a bunk bed. We sell also those rooms to groups of friends doing a city trip. We sell them for educational travel to school groups. And we also take these multi-bedded rooms and sell them as dorms. So people that are actually booking an individual bed and sharing the room with other travelers that they don't know. In every Meininger hotel, you also have all the facilities that you would find at a hostel. So we have a guest kitchen, and we mix it with a lounge area, a bar area. We have a game zone. So now that I've described a bit what our concept is about, I'm sure you can imagine that we are also talking to many different guest segments. And segmentation is really important for Meininger because the different benefits that you have will vary depending on which guest segment you belong to. Also, at Meininger, we've been expanding. So I've been with Meininger for 7 years, and when I joined, there were 18 properties in the portfolio. Nowadays, we have 36 hotels and 4 more to come very soon. So looking at the 36 properties that we have, you can imagine that our data has actually really increased and that we have a lot of different data points in the different hotels. So as Ben was saying earlier, we have all these different stays that we need to put together to build the guest history. And in addition to that, at Meininger, we've been investing a lot into our tech stack. So we've relaunched our website, we've relaunched the interface that we have to our PMS. So we are upgrading also a lot of different features. Also, there's more to come. And all of these new tech touch points that we have, they actually need to be connected. So our motivation behind moving towards a CDP is really to break down the silos and bring all of this data together and have a single point of truth that we use to initiate communication with our guests. We want to send out the right message to the right person at the right time. So clearly for us, the benefit is that we want to increase engagement by sending this information to the right person at the right time. And of course, we also want to improve retention and increase the customer journey with Meininger.
I think one great use case we just talked about before, just quickly jumping in here, was the use case of what we call in the industry abundant shopping carts. Meaning you're a guest and you go to the website of Meininger and you fill out the details, but you don't purchase at the end. And that happens a lot, right? It's not that, so maybe later, let's see, and I'm not going through the booking process. That's called the abundant shopping cart. And what the CDP does is once we can collect that data, it's in our database in the CDP, and we can send, for example, it to Mailchimp, and Mailchimp should send a transactional communication to that guest with that email they gave us in the cart, in the shopping cart, and say, hey, why don't you come back and book with us? And that basically increases conversion, and then increases more bookings, and it leads to more revenue. So one of the examples of the CDP, so it's not only about transactional data that sits in the PMS, but it's also about more data points from the IBE to the website to other data sources, and then what you just have explained to bring this all together and merge that into a CDP.
Yeah.
Cool. That's on.
Thank you so much. Firstly, I want to say thank you to Ben and Celine. You've made my job so much easier by just prefacing all of this. But where I want to start is talking about Mailchimp. And Mailchimp, what we're trying to show to the market currently is we're one of the best in breed at what we do in terms of email marketing. And hopefully I have some stats that can really show this to you. So we've been around for the last 20 years, and in that 20 years, we've acquired 12 million customers over a number of different fields. And because of that, we send 600 million emails a day. And that really makes us an expert in what we do, and we like to think we know exactly what we're doing in terms of email. We have brilliant integrations with CDPs like TrustYou, which I'll go into a bit later. And one of the things that sets us apart from other email marketing is our delivery rate. Because of how long we've been around, Mailchimp has extremely good relationships with Yahoo and Gmail. And because of this, whenever they make a change, we're able to really deliver and give them and change with them so we can ironclad our customers' deliverability. And deliverability is the #1 key factor in sending any email. And what's key in it is delivering the right email to the right place and not getting into those pesky spam folders and things like that. So that's what Mailchimp is here to deliver. Along the bottom, you'll see a number of awards we've won, and yeah, it's great that our customers really appreciate us. But one thing I really want to clarify, and that's important to Mailchimp, especially in this day and age, is we are fully GDPR compliant with all European regulation as well. So let's get into the crux of why we're speaking today. Mailchimp integrates with TrustYou seamlessly, and it allows us to really deliver some of the best-in-class data interactions that you can see. And when doing this, it allows you to build personalized content for your customers, as Ben's mentioned, and then deliver them a more purposeful communication. And what this does is it helps you drive revenue for all of your businesses. We also use AI in our systems to help with streamlining this process and making it more beneficial across the board. So what I want to show you is what this looks like in practice. And this is the beginning of the journey in a Mailchimp dashboard. This is some random information, but what I really want to focus you in on is the tags. The tags we have here is interactions that we're pulling from different data sources and interacting with and making sure that it's delivered in the correct way, and it helps you label each one of your customers in the correct way. So the one I want to start with is the summer one, because it's so important when people stay with certain hotels. And why that's so important is it allows you to predict when they're going to stay with you again. At Mailchimp, what we'd advise is that you would target this person that stayed in summer 2023 with you for summer 2025. I don't mean just sending them an email going, hey, we know you stayed with us in summer 2023, come and stay with us in summer 2025. It's a bit on the nose. I'm talking about something that's a little bit more niche in sending them a hotel recommendation and an offer saying, hey, we have this great offer for you, come and stay with us in this summer, and we can give you 10%, sorry. Another way you're able to do this is you're able to target people based on who they stayed with. So here we can see families also tagged as well. And this doesn't need to be like bring your family in the text. It could be just a photo of the family showing you're a family-friendly hotel, and you can really go and deliver for them. And then once you've done this process, it allows you to really send some really great emails. And some of the emails I'm going to go through have to caveat, not all of them were sent through Mailchimp, but we just love these examples and what they're trying to deliver for the customer. And you'll see this email, and you'll see it as like there's a survey and there's a call to action, right? But the interesting part of this email is really the survey, because when someone interacts with a survey and they click it, they begin an automation. And this is a personalization automation. So let's say this person clicked on the lake interaction. They received this email a few days later, and they know that because they clicked on a lake, it's tailored to them, and it begins this process of sending people tailored messaging instead of just a standard automation. And this is what's really powerful, because it builds this relationship with a client that you're listening to their needs and what they want to do as well. This can work in a number of different ways, and it can look like this in terms of loyalty. This is the email that we have of someone who's part of a loyalty program. You can see that at the top they're at level 2 and how they can go and get to a level 3. Automatically personalized to the point. But where this email goes even further and why it's even more powerful is it gives suggestions on where they can stay in their next stay with this hotel group and what the weather would look like at that period as well. gives a recommendation, a personalization, and it's really powerful in giving those small tweaks as well. Perfect. Just before I go into this next slide, does anyone use Spotify here? Just raise your hand. Perfect. And who enjoys Spotify Wrapped when they get it at the end of the year, when they know what they like, right? So why don't hotels do it, right? And it's so important. So this is what I really love about this email, is it's a different take, and it uses data in the strongest way possible. And everyone has this data, and you can leverage it in the right ways. So as you look through this email, you can see how long this person has stayed at this hotel group, where they stayed. Unfortunately, this person stayed most in Birmingham, and then also the number of miles that they've traveled as well. But what's beautiful about this email is that it starts with this journey of true data presented to a customer, and it ends with Travelodge's recommendations and what they'd recommend they do next, starting with putting the customer first and then going and delivering it in the right way. Perfect. I've talked a lot around personalization. I hope you understand why it's so important. And at Mailchimp in June 2023, we did some research around it because we think it's where the future really lies. There's a lot of stats on here, but I'm going to summarize them for you. If you personalize your content, your customers are going to feel more valued. They're also going to feel like they trust your company more, which are two of the basis of loyalty of any brand in the world. Also, because of these two factors, it increases the chance they're going to purchase from you and that they're going to stay subscribed even if they haven't purchased from you previously. So, I hope from this section you can understand the power of data and what we're really trying to deliver and what part it plays in trying to deliver personalized content to your customers. And personalization is the key to the future and how we're going to deliver for any of our customers, and it's going to be a key cornerstone of that element. So, what I implore you to do is go out, collect your customers' data, and use it appropriately, and give them the content that they want, and personalize it in a way that makes them feel like they're engaged. Also, using AI to seamlessly integrate this as it moves forward is going to be a key cornerstone in the future, so look out for it. This is the future, so it's going to drive results, and it's going to help you deliver that best-in-breed marketing solution. Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. And yeah, any questions from here?
Before we start in the questions, I want to maybe one remark on what you showed, the tags. If you remember the slide with the tags, and it says tags, and then you see 2023 bookers and summer audience.
Yeah.
So those tags are actually the audiences that we just created on the CDP side, just to make sure everyone understands that. So you're creating an audience on the CDP side, you sync with Mailchimp. Now every guest that falls into this audience that comes later is automatically tagged in the CDP as this audience and is automatically synced to Mailchimp. And then in Mailchimp, they appear as the guest with that tag on it, which you created as an audience in the CDP. And then you can run your marketing campaigns based on whatever tags, whatever audiences you have there. And that's where the seamless synchronization between the CDP and the marketing mailing solution comes from. So, and when we looked at the market, what is out there today, there are a lot of CRM companies out there in hospitality. And all of these CRM companies actually have tried to rebuild a Mailchimp into their own solution. So if you think about it, the CRM is actually trying to merge customers in as profiles in a CRM, but then they have the email marketing solution attached to that too, and with all of the bells and whistles that you probably trying to solve in an email marketing solution. And when we looked at this, saying it makes no sense to actually rebuild an email marketing solution again, because there are best practices, best of breed solutions out there like a Mailchimp. So why don't we partner with them? Why don't we have a seamless connectivity with them? And it's actually not even better, but it's also and overall it's also cheaper. So it's much cheaper if you use a CDP in combination. You're less dependent, and you benefit from the best of breed bells and whistles that these solution providers have established over years and years and years, and just focusing on this one task. And I think that's where the industry is shifting to as well. So let's open it up for questions, if there are any. from the audience? Just raise your hand, shout out. I repeat, yes.
So using a CDP with the Mailchimp as well, are you able to track your ROI on the email campaigns that you're sending out?
It's a great question. So there was one slide where we showed connectivity. So a destination like a Mailchimp, where we send data in, can also become a source of data. So we connect Mailchimp also as a source of data. Excuse me. What it means, like we take the API from Mailchimp and we get all of the information of every email marketing campaign you send and push it back into the CDP. So it means like you can filter in the CDP, give me any mailing campaign for any audience and see, for example, what is the traction of this campaign? How many did I send out? How many did click on it? How many did open the email? You see that all in the CDP. But even more important is you also see what the audience, how the audience behaved over time in the CDP. So how many of those have actually booked again? Which is exactly the ROI question, the return on investment. So how many of the audiences booked over time? And did they book direct? Did they come from a different channel? So I can see the entire mix of revenue that was created of this audience who was in that campaign that I sent out. And that's something you can see in the CDP, and it's even called the ROI dashboard. Any more questions? If not, we say that's it. I thank you very much for participating, and thanks for listening, and wish everyone a great ITB next couple of days. Thank you.
Thank you.